Yes, indeed. Why am I saying that? The Iran Israel has been going on for a while. This has been going for 6 days now, right? This is last Thursday when Israel decided to attack Iran. Now, why am I talking about this right now? Why is this important? It is important, my friends, my subscribers, because I want you to understand what is at stake. And what is at stake, obviously, is the Middle East, right? What is at stake is oil prices. What is at stake is what is going to happen next, right? Everyone wants to know what's going to happen next. Everyone wants to know, well, is it going to be like, is it going to flame the entire Middle East, right? That's the question. So, what has been happening, right? So, right now, Israel is stating the theory that war can't be won with air power alone. That's a big question. There's several themes in this interaction between those two countries. The first theme is, should a country be allowed to have nuclear power? An Islamic country specifically. Two, can you win a war with air power alone? Right? That's the number two. Three, Israel war on Iran is costing hundreds of billions of dollars. Who is going to foot the bill? So basically, what I have for you is three theories. The three theories are, let me write them down for you so we have them, right? We want to understand these are three items that you need to worry about, right? The first one you want to worry about is, can Israel win this war alone, right? Second, how much is it going to cost, right? Right now, we are talking hundreds of millions of dollars a day. Israel is spending hundreds of millions of dollars a day to feed that war. Now, of course, what does it have to do with Black Swan, right? What does this have to do with the stock market? Well, this is important. This is important, my friends, because you need to realize that if this thing gets out of control, then a lot of people are going to get involved in this war. Now, I believe that that's not going to happen. I don't believe that the Israel-Iraq war is going to go on. It's going to go on for a while, but I don't think anybody's going to get involved. Nobody needs to get involved, right? The only reason we're talking about Trump getting involved is because he wants to be part of the action, right? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I am going to talk to you about the Israel-Iraq war and how the impact on the stock market. But more importantly, I want to let you know what's going on in the background. And this is one you really have to worry about, is China. I don't know if you're aware of this, but right now, this story is going on in China, that was 6 hours ago. China is criticizing the UK warship patrol in the Taiwan Strait. Okay? Hey, Parker, right? And hey, Duke. So China criticizes. So why everybody's focused on, what's going on with Iraq and Iran and Israel, and these people are fighting. Now, don't forget, this channel is about being a black swan, right? We're looking for things to go wrong. I know it's not a good thing to do, but that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to figure out what is the bad thing, next thing to happen, because if you decide, if you think that you know what's going to happen, then what's going to happen is you could make money in the stock market, right? Because you could bet against these things. Well, nobody's watching. Everybody's watching left, like everybody's watching Israel and Iran, right? Oh, how long is it going to last? Now, there's a couple of themes around that, right? There's a couple of themes around Israel and Iran, right? The first theme is obviously, this is costing Israel several hundreds of millions of dollars a day. A day is costing them to send these missiles and fight against, and they have no ground troops. So that's costing a lot of money. The second thing is obviously Israel is testing the idea whether or not this war can be won via air power alone. This is important because everybody's testing. Third, can a Islamic country be allowed, quote unquote, to have the atomic bomb? Pakistan has it. Okay. Now, of course, everybody's talking back and forth. Everybody's meeting. Everybody wants to know what's going on. Everybody wants to know what are we going to do. Right now, the German, the English, and the French are meeting with the Iranian over in Europe, right? But the thing is, we're just talking. Israel is not going to stop. Israel is going to keep on doing it. This is a structured, right? They're going to stop. They're going to stop, and don't believe that Trump is going to get involved. I know he said I have a 2 week, I have a 2 week thing, but Trump always talks about the 2 weeks. Always Trump talks about I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about what's going on with Israel. I'm going to take 2 weeks to think about whether or not I'm going to get involved or not. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? I mean, is he nuts? Right? If he gets involved in this war, that's going to be against the MAGA movement, right? And don't forget, the Trump administration right now is losing political ground on immigration. Why? Because they've been too aggressive. They've been too aggressive in trying to bring these people back in. Trump administration is looking at 3,000 deportees a day. They're only getting 400. That's not enough. And when you think there's 11 million illegals, quote unquote, how are you going to get them all? So Trump is I wouldn't say he's losing control yet, but he's not making many friends by going into these hotels and dragging these people out and saying, you're an illegal, I am not, yes you are. So he's got this problem going on right there, right? Now, he also needs to deal with what? He needs to deal with this tax implication of the big beautiful bill. The tax is supposed to come out in July 4th, they want to vote. This bill is going to be monstrous. It's going to be disastrous as far as the debt, the national debt of the U.S. is concerned. So that's going to shake the stock market as well, right? Third, he's going to now wants to get involved, potentially or not, with the Iran war and the Israeli war. I don't know what is he going to do, because frankly, he's not needed. Israel says, my friend, I want him to come over, but frankly, he's not needed. Right? And then fourth, obviously, you got the tariffs. The tariffs. What are you going to do with the tariffs? So he's got all these four things going on at once, and I hate to say it, that is going to be a problem for Trump, because frankly, there is it's almost impossible to deal with, right? So what do we have, my friends? What we have is the following. We have Israel, Iran, big trouble over there. Nothing is going to happen for a while, right? They're still fighting it out. The second thing is, obviously, Trump is losing political ground on immigration, right? So ultimately, what's happening is everybody's busy with all these things, right? We have the tariffs, we have Israel, we have the big beautiful bill. We got all these things going on, right? Now what nobody's noticing that, and this is something that you, my subscribers, I want you to realize. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, because every morning I come around wherever I am in the world. Right now I'm in the US, in my house, but I will be traveling soon, and I will tell you what's going on. But basically right now, China is criticizing UK warship patrol in Taiwan. The Chinese military has called the British warship recent passage through the Taiwan Strait a disruptive act of intentional provocation. Now listen to this. This is going to explode at some point. This is going to be a problem, right? Provocation that undermines peace and stability. What are you doing? The British Royal Navy on Wednesday was part of a long planned deployment It wasn't according with international law. It was perfectly normal. But China is saying, you can't do that. You cannot come over and patrolling my area because Taiwan is mine. It belongs to me. Be careful. Be careful, because that could be the start of something big. China considers Taiwan its territory, right? A claim that self-ruled Taiwan rejects. Now, obviously, we're not saying anything, we're not doing anything right now. In May, Exeth, basically, the defense secretary basically warned China poses imminent threat to Taiwan. Everyone is focused on Israel and Iran. Israel doesn't need you. Israel is just fine. They're gonna be beating the crap out of Iran for a while until you have the regime change. They don't. Israel really doesn't need the U.S. Doesn't need Donald Trump. Now, of course, they can't tell him that, like, go away, right? Go away. We don't want you, because obviously, they're getting a lot of the weapons. They're getting a lot of the weapons from the U.S. But they have to be extremely careful. They have to be extremely careful how they manage the U.S. So that's what they're saying. He's my friend. I like him. Yes, thank you for participating. And Trump, obviously, because he's a showman, nothing wrong with that. He wants to get involved in the prize. He wants to know, hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, I'm going to help you out. Hey, let me get involved in your situation, and let me think about whether or not I'm going to drop the bomb, not drop the bomb, or whatever. Help you out. Let me get involved. Trump cannot get involved in this thing, right? That's impossible. He cannot get involved with this because that's going to draw the U.S., and his MAGA base does not want him to get involved. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because I will help you understand what's happening in the world. But most importantly, I am going to help you make money in the stock market. That's what I'm going to do. And the reason I'm able to do that, because of my experience, but also because I am giving you an unbiased view, an analytical view of what's going on. The thing is, when you're listening to the pundit out there, while you're listening to social media, they are telling you what you want to hear, right? If you go to Fox, if you go to CNN, they tell you what you want to hear, right? If you don't like Trump, you're not going to listen to CNN, right? Because they're going to say, oh, look, he's getting involved in war again. Oh, look, he promised he was going to do this and he didn't do that. You know what I mean? So meanwhile, you guys are in the middle, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, by the way, so that you may not be interested in what I'm saying today, but maybe tomorrow you might be interested, right? And I know a few things or two about a few things or two. The thing is, you want to understand what's happening, and you want to get a feel for what's going on. So right now, the big question is Israel going to keep bombing Iran? And the answer is yes. How do I know that? Well, analyze the situation. Look what they've done with Gaza. Look what they've done with the Hezbollah, where there's been methodically approach on all of these, and they've been attacking, and then they're doing the next natural thing, which is, now that I got rid of all your friends, now I'm going after you. I'm going to get you, and then I'm going to keep bombing you until it's done. Now, Trump obviously gets involved, which is probably not the best thing for them to do right now, but overall, why not? Now, this is important for you to understand. The reason this is important for you to understand, because if you're investing in the stock market, right now, frankly, in the U.S., not doing too well, right? The U.S. Year to date is up 2.5%. You're taking equity risk for 2.5%, while Spain is making 19% on the stock market, right? So the U.S. is fighting a bunch of things at the same time here, right? We've got the tariffs, we've got the immigration, now we've got the Iran thing going. We have the Fed that's not lowering the rates. Now, more importantly, when nobody's looking, because you're looking at all these things, right? You're saying, oh, wow, this is what I hear all day, right? That's what they tell you in the news. What they're not telling you is that China is getting pissed. That's one. What they're not telling you is what is going on in the background. There is 9 trillion of debt that's supposed to find a home that needs to be refinanced in the US. They're not telling you that because that is a big doo-doo. Now, they're not telling you doesn't mean you should not know. You know what's happening? Do you know who knows about these things? The hedge fund, the people that make the real money, because they know that if this treasury auction does not work well and people don't refinance US debt, then you're going to have a market crash. You have a liquidity situation. If tomorrow China, like they said yesterday, they say, hey, we saw some ships going over in Taiwan. I don't like that. This is our place. You shouldn't be going there to begin with, right? If they decide, you know what, this is it. We're going to get into Taiwan so that you know it's ours. Then you're going to have World War III. Why? Because this is a problem. This is a black swan event. There's 2 black swan events that I'm trying to identify for you so that you could make money or at least save so that you don't lose any money. Is you got to worry about China and you need to worry about the treasury auction. The US owes $37 trillion, and frankly, they need to come up with that money. They need to come up with $9 trillion this year. China is not buying US debt, by the way, doesn't want it, okay? Japan? But Japan has a lot already, more than $1 trillion, and that's a lot. Canada? Do you think Canada is going to help the US? That's not going to happen. China is not going to. Then you know who's helping the US right now? The UK. Our friend, the English, are buying the US debt. Why? Well, because they have a deal with the US and the tariffs. So right now we got a lot of balls in the air, right? And that's the reason why the stock market in the US, as I'm looking at it right now, I mean, for the week, actually we're doing quite well for the week. For the month, quite well. But remember, the reason why we're doing quite well is because the market has been down a lot in the US. But if you look year to date, it's up 2.5%. If you look year over year, it's up 10%. Yeah, but Germany is up 30%. Spain is at 25%, right? So if I know this, you could bet that Trump knows that as well. And these people are talking to him right now. They're saying, okay, so what do we deal with? What's the most important thing for us to deal with? Do we really want to get involved? Do we really want to get involved with Israel and Iran? That's a big topic right now. Now, the UK just mentioned that there's a window that now exists for Iran negotiation after Trump sets timeline for US action. Yeah, Trump set a timeline. But Trump set a timeline for the tariffs. Excuse me. I'm recording here, people. Hello. Wow. No respect. Trump set a timeline for the tariffs. Remember that? He set the tariffs for 2 weeks. And he said, okay, I give you 1 month to negotiate. And then the market almost collapsed. The liquidity almost went out because of the treasury. The 10-year treasury went up to almost 5%. Then he said, you know what? Forget it. I am not going to. Hey, Bayo, how are you doing? So I am not going to do it. I am going to forget it. I am going to postpone it. I'm going to get 90 days. Oh, but you said we're going to do it right away. So don't listen to this 2-week timeline. Right? Now, of course, if you're in Africa, you should be concerned. Right? If you're in the Middle East, you should be concerned. If you're in India, you should be concerned. Why? What do you think is happening right now in Pakistan? Right? Pakistan is being impacted by Iran, obviously. Right? India, you're going to be impacted with this. Why? Right now, what's happening, China is basically trying to move away from the US, slowly but surely. Now, why is China doing that? Because the US is not a reliable partner anymore. Well, I mean, you could understand the US too. I'm not saying that, China is correct and China is incorrect. I mean, you know what? You need to know one thing is that China right now controls literally almost all of the rare minerals. Why do you need to care about this, my subscribers? And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel, because what I'm doing for you is I'm trying to identify a hot spot in the world, explain what's happening, but so that you are informed and you understand what is going to happen, because it will impact the stock market. But the thing is, you don't want to go into the stock market after the action has happened. You need to be there before. You need to be there before. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you are updated as to what's going on in a kind of a, maybe in a crazy kind of way, right? Uh, but in an analytical point of view, right? I'm bringing it all to you so you have a feel as to what are the hot spots, what's going to happen. Now, even if you're not in the stock market, heck, if you are in the US, you want to know if this country is going to go to war again. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, that's not going to happen, right? Trump is not going to allow this to happen. He's not going to get into another war because he said it himself. And if you know him, he said, no forever war. We are not going to, we're gonna lower the taxes, right? We're gonna do the tariff. We're gonna kick all the immigrants out. He said all these things, and he's doing them. One thing he didn't say is, I want to get into another war, right? He didn't say that. So I don't think he's going to get involved because, frankly, he does not have the backup. And don't forget, if he's pissing a lot of people off in on the Republican in the senators, right? He needs those senators right now because they need to pass the big beautiful bill, the big beautiful bill that is supposed to be going through the Senate by July 4th. Obviously, for July 4th is a big holiday in the U.S. That's what they're trying to do, July 4th. So do you think he wants to say, okay, by the way, I'm also going to get us involved. I'm going to drop a few bombs. Because now, if you drop a few bombs on Iran, now you're going to force the other Arab countries, which frankly, they haven't done anything. I don't know if you notice, no one is coming. When I mean no one, no Muslim country is coming to the help of Iran. Right? They're not doing anything, right? But if the U.S. gets in there, they're gonna have to do something because their people is gonna revolt against them. Now, having said that, when Hezbollah was getting, kicked by Israel, Iran didn't do much of anything either. So there's not a lot of love that you would assume that there is among all the Muslim countries, but maybe it will happen. So if the U.S. comes in, then they're going to say, listen, you got to get in there. We got to do something, because if you don't do anything, our own people are going to revolt against us and we're going to lose power. So we have to do something. So that's the reason why I don't think that the U.S. is going. I don't think these countries are going to go after the U.S. is going to bomb Iran. That's not going to happen. Now, obviously, the problem that you have is that the Trump administration, aggressive deportation program is testing the political bounds of what American will tolerate. What does that mean? It means that it's too much. And you're doing too much. Federal officials in recent weeks have stepped up raids on worksite and farms and hotels. And I know a few of these people. They went in there and they just kicked the doors open and they say, "Okay, you're illegal." I said, "I'm not." "Yes, you are. Come in. Let's talk about it." I've got students. I've got investors that are worried that this is too much. Right? You're all over the place. You're doing everything at the same time, and we don't know what is the end goal. Now, believe it or not, there are firms right now in Switzerland. You know what they do? They do exactly what I'm doing. More methodical, obviously, more statistically. But what they do is they look for the next bad thing to happen. They look for the next black swan. You should do too. You shouldn't just be a consumer of information. And that's what I want for my subscribers. I want my subscribers to understand what is happening. So don't forget to subscribe, like this stream, so that you get updated the next time I come around. But this aggressivity that Trump is having is too much. It is too much right now. And I don't think he's going to get involved in this Israel-Iran war, because there's no way he's going to be able to do that and do all the things that he wants to do, and then the deportation. And more importantly, he has got to pass the big, beautiful bill. That's how it's called, believe it or not. You want your subscribers to understand something you clearly don't know. It's not about understanding, right? Because I don't understand why Israel is attacking Iran, right? I don't understand I don't understand why Iran needs atomic bomb, right? I don't. It's not about understanding, because when you bring the understanding, then you say, "Well, that's because you're like one part, you're not the other." No, it's about analyzing the situation, right? You need to pull yourself out of the thing and look from the outside. And you don't need to be involved in it, but you need to understand that you don't know. Listen to me right now. The most successful, the greatest philosopher of all time, who was he? Who was the greatest who was the greatest philosopher of all time? It was Socrates, right? Lived way before Jesus Christ. Socrates, look at it. Socrates. And you know what he said? Do you know what his most famous say? That I know that I don't know. I know that I don't know. You know what that means? It means everybody you get up in the morning and you think that you understand, right? You don't understand anything. You don't know anything. In fact, you know who else is saying that? Taleb Nassim. Taleb Nassim wrote the book, The Black Swan. And he says himself, every day when I get up in the morning, I know that I don't know what's going to happen. And yet he made millions of dollars with options. Right? So hold on. So if you don't know what's happening, so what's the point? As the New World mentioned, the point is, even though you don't know what's going to happen, you need to analyze what's going on and you need to make decision accordingly, right? You could see what's happening, right? For example, let's take the situation with Trump. Is Trump going to get involved? Yes or no? I don't know what's in his mind. I don't know what he's thinking about, but I know this. I know that he has a pattern of doing these things, of saying yes, giving a deadline and saying, okay, fine, let's wait. Because he's a showman, right? You need to analyze his personality, right? And the situation with our friend Taleb Nassim and the Black Swan, which is what this channel is about, called the Black Swan, is that the way you make money in the stock market is trying to analyze what's happening. Now, of course, you're going to say, but, and the reason they made a lot of money, they made about 4,000%. Look into it. They made 4,000% in 2020 at the time of the COVID. How did they make 4,000%? Right? Forget the 20%, the 30% it's a market. The way they made money in the market is because they knew that at some point there will be a situation going on with the COVID, or with not COVID, they didn't know it was COVID at that time, but with the idea that there is some sort of something going on, there's something going on with the viruses, right? And they said, you know what if it happens? So what do? When you don't know, you hedge yourself. And that, my friends, that is a key component of what you should know. I teach that all the time, and I tell them all the time, you do not make money in the stock market by trying to find out the next NVIDIA. No. You make money in the stock market by protecting what you have and by hedging against it. Okay? And the reason you do that is because you know that you don't know. You know that you don't know what is going to happen. You know that you don't know what's happening. I don't know, quote unquote, what's happening in Israel and Iran. Right? No, I know. I read the news. I didn't tell you to read the news. Right? They're telling you what they want you to know. You're seeing a bunch of planes and you're seeing a bunch of people being, what you didn't see, right? Think of it this way. When Israel went after Hezbollah, what you did not know at the time is that Israel, 6 months prior to that, had already sent a bunch of pages, right, with those people in their pockets. And they were walking around with those pages, those Hezbollah people. And then one day, Israel said, click. Now that, when they say click and they all blew up, then you found out about it, right? So you say, oh, I know what's happening. No, you don't know what's happening. What you don't know is that this was planned 6 months ago. What about what Ukraine did to Russia, right? You heard the story, right? I'm not to tell you that. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way. Right? What did they do? Well, they basically months in advance, when Zelensky was at the White House, he was getting his butt kicked by Trump and by the other guy, right? They were mad at him, blah blah. His people were in Russia, and they had those drones, right, all over, ready to rock and roll. And then one day, click, and the drones went up, and they went out, and they destroyed a lot of those bombers, Russian bombers. So you don't know. What you know is what they're telling you, but it's too late by that time. What you need to do, and this is what this channel is about, we're trying to figure out what is really going on. We're trying to analyze the situation, not report on the situation. They do that all day long. You know, if right now, if I go into, let's say I go into the BBC right now and I say, okay, what's going on right now? Tell me what's happening, because I want to know. I want to understand. Well, you know, the UK says a window now exists for Iran negotiation after Trump sets timeline for the US. Oh, so Trump is going to give them a 2-week windows, and therefore we're going to have something going on with Trump. He's going to do something, right? We're going to wait for him. He's not going to do anything. Okay. I don't know the man, but I could tell you already that he's not going to do anything, because he cannot do anything, because if you analyze the situation, he's going to piss off a lot the MAGA people. Look what happened 2 days ago. Look at this interview with Tom Cruise and the other guy, I forgot his name. Can you guys know? There was an interview 2 days ago with Ted Cruz and the Fox guy, right? And the Fox guy was a MAGA guy, and he said, "Hey, so you want we should do regime change in Iran?" Tucker Carlson, thanks, James. Tucker Carlson, exactly. Right? He told the guy, "So do you know how many people live in Iran?" And Ted Cruz was, "I don't know." "So you don't know how many people live in Iran?" "No." "Do you know what type of people? Are they Sunnis? Are they Persian? What are they?" "I don't know." "Oh, so you don't know who these people are, right? And you want to do regime." Now remember, these are two Republicans, right? Two so-called MAGA people, right? And Ted Cruz said, "I don't know," but that's not the point. Well, it is the point. You're trying to do regime. So they were fighting, actually. There was some tension here. Now, this is huge. Why is this huge? Because if Trump loses that base, right, he loses the power. And it's very easy for Trump to lose the power. Look what happened in April when Trump said, okay, 145% tariff on everyone. I don't care. I am here for I'm here for Main Street. I'm not here for Wall Street. Yeah, okay, fine. So you don't care people lose money in the stock market. I don't care. My people don't have money in the stock market, which is not true, by the way. But then what happened? The 10-year Treasury yield shot up to almost 5%. Somebody went to his office and said, listen, if you got to stop this. You got to give him a 90-day reprieve on the tariffs. Otherwise, you're going to lose the stock market. But more importantly, you're going to lose the credit markets. You're going to lose liquidity. You're going to lose liquidity in the market. And he says, like, what does that mean? It means that people are not going to want to lend, do anything, and take their money back. It's going to be a disaster. And he stopped. So Trump is not stupid. He pulled back and said, fine, 90-day reprieve, which, by the way, is coming up pretty soon, I think July 7th. But now, because of what he's doing now, there's tension within the MAGA movement, right? Tucker Carlson was fighting it out with Ted Cruz, right? And that's not good. So imagine Trump says on tomorrow morning, okay, you know what? Let's start bombing Iran. Somebody's going to go into the office and say, don't even think about that. Because if you do that, you're going to lose the base. You lose the base, you lose the Democrats. I mean, you already lost the Democrats. You're going to lose the senators. And the senators are supposed to vote. They're supposed to vote July 4th for the big, beautiful bill, which Elon Musk says it's a disaster. Can't disagree with the man because technically it's going to cost $4 trillion extra to the already $37 trillion. It's going to increase the amount of money the U.S. is paying every year on the debt. So that's going to be, and this is what I mean by analytical. You need to understand all the pieces because it will impact you, right? And you cannot listen to the news because the news is just that. It's just telling you what's happening. You could listen to it, but you can't believe it. Right? Because right now you may not realize maybe Israel sent a bunch of commandos out and they're going to blow up these underground bunkers with the atomic bomb in it, right? Because at the end of the day, they're probably not going to have enough bombs. And by the way, this is costing Israel hundreds of millions of dollars a day in this war. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as I keep saying, because I want you to be informed. This is what we're about. This is a Black Swan channel. This is not the feel-good channel. This is not the entertainment channel. I mean, I'm trying to get you in my backyard here, but to have some kind of background. But this is serious business. This is serious business because it will impact the stock market. What's going to impact the stock market? I am going to tell you what's going to impact the stock market. One, it's not going to be the Iran-Iraq war. No. Because it's not a fight. If you notice, right, it is not a fight. I mean, they're getting destroyed. Okay. Now you're going to say, well, how did that let that happen? Well, I mean, this is not, they don't have the backup of the U.S. So the U.S. is involved technically, but they're not overtly involved, right? And this is where the analysis comes in, right? You don't want to piss everybody else. So what's going to happen essentially is they're going to destroy them, right? So nothing is going to come out of nothing good for the Iranians, great for the Israeli. So that's, I mean, you don't know this, the oil prices were up quite a bit, right? And then Trump said 2-week deadline, the market went down. I think Trump gets off on that as well. You know, he's an entertainer, right? So he likes the idea that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and people are reacting, and I'm important. You know, don't forget, this is what he's done his entire life, right? This is what he's about. He was very successful on TV, extremely successful. He was extremely successful for being elected. You know, this is a special kind of person. You may like him, you may not like it. You're not going to see too many people like him. But the point is, what's going to impact the stock market, right? Well, what's going to impact the stock market is a China-Taiwan situation. Well, when nothing is going on. But that's the point, right? You don't want to wait until it happens to do something. You definitely, if you have a portfolio, you want to put some hedges on your portfolio. You want to buy some long-dated puts. You want to do something to your portfolio because, my friends, at some point that's going to happen. It's a pressure cooker, right? Now, obviously, China doesn't want a war, right? Unless they have to. Now, I don't know if you know, but China controls a tremendous amount of those rare minerals, right? Those rare minerals. And this is the analytical part of me that gets in, is when I see, well, they don't really want to help the U.S. I mean, there was some discussion, right, with rare mineral recently with China, right? You heard that. They basically wanted to get involved, and Trump said 145%. China said, well, hold on, take it easy. I need money from you anyway. So let's discuss. So now they do 30% because of the rare minerals. The rare minerals are extremely important because they are the one, yeah, they go into the iPhone and they go into, no, but more importantly, they go into the weapons. So China, 5,000 years of history, they're thinking ahead They're saying if we ever go to war with anyone, do we want to give them the power to fight us? That's what they're thinking, and that's a problem, right? So they're saying, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. Therefore, yeah, okay, fine. Let's make a deal. Okay, fine. We give you some rare minerals, and they did, but they only did at a very for only a short period of time. I don't know if you know, but this deal that said we're done. We've done a deal with China, is not really done. It's a 6-month deal that China has signed, so they're not so keen on doing it right now. I want to look for you the latest on the rare minerals with China. There was an article. There was some news not too long ago on China, where they basically, here we go. China basically is flexing his muscle as far as the rare minerals are concerned. And that's a problem for the US. So why is this a problem? China flexes chokehold on rare earth magnets as export plunges in May. Curbs on magnet using EV jet fighters are core of recent US-China trade tension. So basically what's happening, China is kind of saying, yes, I'm gonna, fine, okay, I'll give you some of the magnets so you could put in the jet fighters, but I don't want to give too much of it because I also want to make sure that if I have to fight you at some point, I don't want to give you the weapons you could pick the jet fighter. Now, of course, you're going to say, but why would China fight with the US? Well, I mean, the reason they would fight with the US is frankly not so much because they want Taiwan. Taiwan is just a reason to get in there, right? The reason is, unfortunately, you know, Trump is coercing China into a transaction, is coercing China into tariffs, right? He's not negotiating. And Chinese people, you know, they think differently, right? And to their, you know, they've been around longer than we have been, quite frankly. So as a civilization, and it's about negotiation, it's about talking, it's about understanding. And Trump is saying, no, you gotta give me, you gotta deal with me, otherwise I'm going to charge you 145%, and you need to deal with me, otherwise, so I'm going to put pressure on you. Your people are going to get pissed, and frankly, people are, you know, China is not doing so great itself. It's losing a lot of money, quite frankly. But how long can it last? How long can it last for China to keep doing what they're doing with Trump? Well, I mean, as long as they're making money. But if Trump keeps coercing them and stop them from making money, the Chinese people are going to get pissed. They're going to go in Tiananmen Square again and start fighting again. Then you're going to have an infighting inside. And when the people are pissed, you know what you say? It's not my fault. It's his fault. Let's go fight the guy. That's what happened in World War I. That's what happened in World War II. We just need a reason to fight, right? Because it bulging it up, right? Like think Pakistan and India, right? We just need a reason to fight. Israel and Iran was the same thing. It was just a matter of time. Although nobody thought that Iran would drop so quickly, but obviously, Israel was basically thinking about it all along, and they wanted to understand what's going on until they were ready to attack. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. That is important for me to keep going, right? So at the end of the day, what's going to happen? That's going to be a problem for you. You need to worry about this thing. Now, is it going to happen Monday morning? No. But the longer, basically what you want to watch out for, look what's happening in July 7th, which I believe that's when the 90-day thing is over with the 90-day tariffs thing, right? After that period, technically Trump is going to say, okay, we're back to 145% if you haven't made a deal with me. And frankly, I don't see too many deals being done right now as far as the tariffs are concerned. It's been a while, I don't see too many tariffs. Okay? So the chances are it's going to go on for a while. Okay? So Trump is either going to say, this is it, 145%, which is not going to be good, or, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit more time so we could postpone it. So that's something that you need to worry about. Now, you need to also understand that China's export of rare earth magnets plummeted after it imposed control over their overseas sales. Yeah. Emphasizing Beijing's dominance of critical input into electrical vehicle and jet fighters that has taken center stage in tensions with the US. right? There's tension with the US right now because of this. The US want the rare minerals because I want to put in my jet fighters. Now, how did the US get to that point where, what, there's no rare minerals in the US? Why can't you build your own damn minerals? There is rare minerals in the US, except you know what? The US hasn't focused on digging it up because China was doing a great job building, so its factory itself to build the things, to process them. The US has lost, doesn't really, not forgot, but doesn't really know how to process those minerals anymore. Why? Well, because the same way that the US doesn't build any more pharmaceutical things from factories anymore. It's relying on China. It's relying on China on lots of things. And that's a problem when you have a trade deficit. Now you can understand why Trump says, well, we got to do something about this. We've got to do something about this. We have to make sure that we're able to build those things. And unfortunately, the US has lost that ability slowly. That's dangerous. Now, of course, I agree, trade deficits are no good. So how do we bring them back in? Tariffs? Yeah, but tariffs cause inflation. You should have done something, more negotiating basis, not on a coercing. Let's coerce those people to go in and force them to deal business with us because we have to start. And he's right. We need to bring back stuff in the U.S. We need to bring this thing back in the U.S. We need to be able to build in the U.S. The only thing is you forgot to do them. And you're not going to do it over the next 6 months. That's going to take years. The rare magnets, I'm looking at a chart right now, right? 7 million kilograms in 2025, at the beginning of 2025, was around 6 million kilograms, right? Which is about 14 million pounds. Now, we're down to 1. Right? We're doing great. From 2021 to 2025, it's going straight up, and then it dropped. When you have that kind of drop, people, you need to worry about, right? You need to worry about that. China is thinking, if I go to war with these people, I want to make sure I don't have to fight my own weapons. Exactly. So that's one thing you need to worry about. The second thing you need to worry about, and that's a doozy, you need to look, and I mean, this is easy to watch for you. Good morning, you get up, look at the news on China. What is China doing? What's going on? The second thing you need to look at is you need to look at what's happening with the treasury auctions. You need to look at what they're doing this year and very soon, because we owe about $9 trillion that's supposed to be repaid this year. If the US can't find a home for that, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a lot of damage. And unfortunately, that could be the story this year, right? That essentially the US is not able to find investors to refinance its debt. And that's going to be a problem. Because now, if you can refinance your debt, you know what's going to happen? Analytically speaking, the US is going to do what it has done in the past. And it's going to buy back its own debt. How you do that? By printing money, by printing dollars. That's a lot of damage, right? Because then you say, well, all you need to do is print money to pay yourself. This is great. It's like you wanted to buy a house. You just print a bunch of money in your basement and buy the house. And that's it. I bought the house. And what did you give those people? I gave them a bunch of piece of paper and they gave me a house. Is that great? How could you do that? You can't do it because you don't have a reserve currency in your basement. But the US can. That's a tremendous amount of power. Unfortunately, and it started with Biden, don't want to say bad about the man that is sick, but Biden unfortunately weaponized the dollar when we told Russia you cannot use the dollar anymore. And that's a problem. While Trump now, Trump now weaponized the trade, the tariffs. I mean, he's weaponing the dollar again to the tariffs, right? Because when you're telling people it's going to be 145% tariffs, on you. Basically, you're shut out of the U.S. market. You have no access to my money anymore. You cannot use dollars, right? Because if somebody sends you a product from overseas, right? What do they want from you? They want your dollars, right? If they don't think that your currency is worth anything, then they're going to say, well, I'm going to send you I'm going to send you a plane. Don't give me a bunch of paper. Give me another plane, or give me some cows, or. But the U.S. has the incredible ability, and that's something that you need to understand every morning when you get up. The U.S. has this thing that no one else has, which is a dollar. And the dollar, guys, I'm working here. I'm working. The dollar is a reserve currency. What does that mean? It means that all you need to do is print it and people will take it. Imagine the power of this, right? Which is great when power is yielded in a good way. But when it's yielded the way it is right now, the way Biden did it with the Russian, because don't forget, fine, you may agree or disagree why Putin invaded Ukraine. I mean, you could say, listen, you were getting a little too close to the guy. But anyway, even if you believe that, what was the point? Because now he is not able to use the dollar at all. And that's why he went out and did his own thing with the BRICS. But if you use it that way, it is not good, right? Because then other countries say, whoa, wait a second. So basically, if I want to buy something, I can't do it anymore because I don't have access to the dollar. That's right. So you can't buy stuff for your people. Your people are going to starve. Well, I'll give them rubles. Yeah, but nobody trades in rubles, right? They want dollars. You cannot trade in dollars. We're not allowing you. So if the day before you were spending $100 million and you were sending $1 million, people were sending you wheat, you can't use $100 million anymore. You have to just find another way. I mean, you could use whatever dollars you have left, but then when it's gone, it's gone. Right? So, but other countries says, whoa, hold a second. If the U.S. could do that to Russia, they could do it to me too, right? They could decide they're weaponizing the dollar. Now, the dollar is a reserve currency. It's like a thing that everybody could use. But now if you tell people, no, you can't use it. No, you can't use it. And they say, well, then maybe I should do something else because you're holding me hostage here, right? And Trump now is doing the same thing in his own way with the tariffs. He's saying to the world, 145% tariffs. Otherwise, it's not happening, my friends. Otherwise, you can't do business. So the countries are saying, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I want to be able to do business in this country. No, you can't. Unless you have the dollars, you're not going to be able to do it. And that's a problem. That's going to be a problem going forward for these people. So you got these two forces going at once, right? And analytically speaking, you need to understand what that impact is going to do. The impact is going to be that the dollar is getting weaker. And do you know the reason why? Who's benefiting from that? It's gold. What do you think gold has been going up? You want to know what's happening to gold? I will tell you right now. I'm going to go into my commodity screen and I could tell you that year over year, gold is up 44%. How significant is that? I'll tell you how significant it is. Because if you look at indices, if you look at the stock market, for the same period, right? For the same period, the one that comes closest, I think, is Germany. Year over year, up 30%. The Hong Kong market is up 30%. That's it. So right now, you want to be into gold at 43%, 44%. Natural gas is up too, but gold is up 44%. Oh, let me get into gold. No, don't get into gold. It's too late. Everybody's already in it. You want to be in gold when nobody is in it. You don't want to be, because otherwise all you're doing is you're you're running, you're buying when everybody else is buying. That is not how you make money. The way you make money is you buy when everybody else is selling. That is what you need to do, because otherwise, what's the point? You need to buy when everybody else is selling, not buy when everybody else is buying. So these are the two things that are going to happen. These are the two things you need to worry about: China and the Treasuries auction this year. But but that's not the news that we're seeing, right? If I go in the news, let's say, for example, let me go to the BBC. What is the main news? Well, a window may exist for Iran negotiation after Trump set deadline for U.S. actions. Oh, okay. Chris Brown denies London nightclub assault. Oh my God. China criticizes UK warship patrol. That's kind of a headline news. And men get stuck. U.S. court allows Trump to keep control of the National Guard in L.A., right? So they're telling you the news. What you need to know is what matters the most is it what you don't hear. And this is why Black Swan is about. You need to understand what no one is talking about, which is very difficult. No, I'm not saying no one is talking about it at all. It's out there. It's not hidden. It's down there somewhere. You need to know where it is. But once you know, and you know how to look at it, and this is what this channel is about. So don't forget to join to join this channel and click on it and say you like it and you love it. And I will be back for more every single day, because I want to help my subscribers in what they're doing. See you all.